Hello, everyone. It's so exciting to be here. I'm going to describe a program, a training that is offered to professionals who are interested in becoming more family-centered in their practice. The program was developed during my doctoral work at Boston University and tested during my Fulbright Fellowship at the University of Haifa. So first I want to extend greetings from Haifa, which is not so far, about 5 hours flight from here. And these are my mentors, advisors, and colleagues, Nomi and Ayelet from Haifa. So what was the rationale? As we have been discussing here throughout the first wonderful day of the conference, family-centered care is considered best practice. But many times providers feel that it is insufficiently implemented. And they struggle in many different settings. Parents agree as well. The solution that we are testing, that I will describe today, is effective training to minimize the gap between theory and practice. And therefore, the purpose of this study was to examine the effectiveness of one training program, which I will describe. So the first part of designing a program is to understand what content needs to be included, or what our provider is missing in their day-to-day. And it turns out that there is a lot to know in order to become family-centered. Many skills that are considered advanced skills. So these include collaborative goal setting, effective communication that includes back and forth communication, cultural sensitivity, how to support families beyond the immediate setting or the direct care, workplace policies that can support the collaboration and FCC processes, interprofessional teamwork, and how can we learn from families. So after identifying the content needed, the question was, how can we actually teach providers? How do adult learners enhance their skills and expertise? And King's model from 2009 was very helpful to allow us to construct the process of learning. So in this beautiful model of professional expertise, the stages are laid out pretty clearly. First, we need to start with engaging in deliberate practice, actually starting to work with parents hand in hand and to seek feedback. Based on processing the experience through reflection, the learner can enhance self-knowledge, the content knowledge, and also procedural knowledge. All of these enhanced skills can contribute to client outcomes and also to elevated professional reputation and also to self-efficacy, which I will share shortly. So the training included 4 modules delivered over 30 hours over 6 weeks, and included 4 main topics. What are the guidelines and principles of family-centered care, how to communicate with families, how to foster partnerships, and organizational perspectives, really thinking about the partnership beyond the immediate relationship. For each module, we also included a learning assessment to see where the learners are and how they're progressing, and also to allow them to reflect on their process. So for example, for the first topic, learning from families, all participants went out to the homes of different people. They observed the home, and then they wrote a reflective paper on what they learned from the experience, and it was quite illuminating. For example, for shared goal setting, participants set a meeting with parents where they collaboratively set goals and reported on the goals that were set. Sorry, this direction. Overall, we had 83 occupational therapists, physical therapists, and speech-language pathologists, and we used a mixed method approach to measure the effectiveness. The main measure, which you probably are all familiar with and is considered the gold standard of family-centered care processes, is the measure of processes of care, the service provider form, and which is these are 2 items. This is what the questionnaire looks like. It's a 27 item questionnaire and asks about different family-centered behaviors. And it's rated on a scale of 0 to 7, or 1 to 7. To this, we added a sequel, which was based on Bandura's work and on self-efficacy, where for each item, the provider had to rate their level of confidence and their ability to implement this task. The MPOC domains are 4, showing interpersonal sensitivity, communicating specific information, providing general information, and treating people respectfully. The the results were quite exciting. In dark blue are the pre-tests for the MPOC, the original MPOC for service providers, and then the confidence MPOC, or the additional scale, and the light blue are the self-efficacy. And you can see that the biggest change, which was significant, was for communicating specific information, followed by treating people respectfully, and interpersonal sensitivity. The one aspect that did not change significantly, but you can see that did change, is providing general information. And interestingly, this really coincides with previous global trends. Also very interesting, and this is an example just for one of the scales, this interpersonal sensitivity, is the correlation, the positive, significant correlation between self-efficacy and implementation of family-centered care. And you can see that there are different trends. Some people improve their performance and their self-efficacy, but some people, and here you can see my mouse, actually improve their performance, but their self-efficacy decreased, and there's also the opposite trend. So it's very important. We speak a lot about personalized care. There's also personalized learning, and it's important to consider the personal learning styles of each participant, each learner. So some conclusions and practical implications for others who wish to implement trainings in their settings. Trainings can certainly be effective in enhancing therapists' implementation of family-centered care. It's important that the content is practical, evidence-based, and theoretically driven. What we found was that experiential learning and reflection are essential for the change and development of expertise in this field. Further, we recommend assessing the learning constantly to identify the barriers and to adapt the program for solutions. Self-efficacy has been strongly linked to performance and to knowledge translation. Oh, okay, we're done. So thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Questions for Liat? Olaf, use your big voice.
Hi.
Big voice. You're not just talking to her, you're talking to them.
I'm talking to her. Thank you very much. I was just wondering, if you want to become more family-centered, I'm looking now at home, and we all think we are very family-centered, but if you want to do it even more, how were the people that participated in your study selected to be part of? Was that a voluntary thing? Was it mandated by the institution?
That's a great question. The question was, how were these people and how were the participants selected for the study? And actually, everyone in this study volunteered for this study. This was offered as a continuing education course in different settings. One was in a master's program. One was as a continuing education in the Ministry of Education in Israel. And it was all voluntary. So I definitely had the wonderful privilege of working with people who were very motivated to begin with. But even though they were motivated, all of them came out of a need, and they said that they really felt that this is something that they want to enhance in their practice. This is huge. Okay. So thank you for the question. Selecting the population is always very important for the results, of course.
You see that you're going to have to be really fast with your questions because the 2 minutes goes quickly, and you can also see that there's somebody else besides us controlling the slides. So there's a message for the speakers and the audience.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.